Hello, Captain Graham here. I hope to have some new pieces for the channel soon, including further explorations of Bach's Klavierübung. In the meantime, I have something a little different in this video and I hope it is of interest. For more than 25 years, I've been an avid collector of various artifacts, including composer autographs, when I can afford them. Over the years, I've amassed a bit of a collection obtained from dealers and auction houses in UK, Europe and the United States. Today I'll focus on some 19th century romantic giants. And I also pose the question, what does their handwriting say about their music or their personality? Now I've seen over the years people ask, why even collect autographs? Well, the answer is, you're holding in your hand a tiny slice of history. It represents a few minutes or sometimes just a few seconds of a great person's life. Usually I collect people I admire or at least have an interest in, or even have some connection to my development, and I'll explain a bit more in a sec. They may be composers, artists, icons, or special interest areas of mine like the Beatles. Now back to the Romantics. First up, here's a slip of a paper cut from a longer letter from Felix Mendelssohn. Now this is dated Frankfurt 1845. His beautifully fastidious cursive script is every bit as carefully crafted as his music. And his songs without words were early influences in my teens when I was first trying a hand at composing piano music. Mendelssohn's great contemporary, Robert Schumann, who lived 1810 to 56, is represented in my collection by this receipt for payment. It's dated Dresden, 26th November 1849 for publisher Lockhart of Cassel for the 4 duets for soprano and tenor, opus 78, published in 1850. Now, can we detect a certain manic drive in his spiky handwriting? Schumann's works for piano and orchestra was one of the first classical LPs we had in our household growing up, before I was even into music. So Schumann's an incredibly important composer for me, very influential. Next up, there's a couple of items signed by Franz Liszt, who lived 1811 to 86, arguably the greatest pianist of all time. It's a short thank you note dated Weimar 1875. Over the years I've got into Liszt music and I've even collected his complete piano music on CD, although I can't play too much. I've done a few recordings here of the Weihnachtsbaum or Christmas tree pieces, so please do look them up. Last year I got this bargain, a signed carte de visite. There was a collecting mania of these in the 19th century, handed out by the composer or printed commercially for fans, a sort of early trading cards. Now I've got one nice example that's slightly clipped, and then there's faded but boldly signed one. What does the handwriting say about Liszt? A slanted, spiky script, perhaps suggesting a certain tempestuousness, but I'm not a graphologist. Moving forward, here's a note in beautiful cursive script dated Lucerne, 12 December 1870, from Richard Wagner, who lived 1813 to 83, quoting his own opera Die Meistersinger von Nürnberg, Act 1, Scene 3. It says in German, "So both people and art may bloom and thrive. Let's do it this way, say I, Hans Sachs." Now there are occasional musical quotes you see for sale in auctions and dealers of Wagner, but it's the only libretto quote I've ever seen. Wagner has a special significance to me since I had to study the overture from Die Meistersinger for O-level music, at school and later played double bass in a performance of the movement at Oxford. The piece was accompanied by a vintage engraving of the composer. The last composer we'll discuss today is Johannes Brahms, who lived 1833 to 97. It's an autograph card, I think dated Vienna, looks like 1894. I haven't been able to play much Brahms over the years, perhaps 3 or 4 pieces, but I once played double bass in the German Requiem at college in Oxford. And there's a certain tempestuous to his writing that reminds me of Beethoven's script. Some might say the same about his music. By the way, on the back of the card is a musical quote from Polish great Paderewski, who lived 1861 to 1941. And it's from his 1895 Opus 19 Fantasy Polonaise for piano and orchestra. He was, of course, later Prime Minister of Poland from 1919. Now, in between bringing you pieces, if this video proves popular, I'll be glad to give you more glimpses of treasures from my personal manuscript collection. So do let me know what you think, and if you have any requests. But sorry folks, don't have any Bach or Mozart. Anyway, commenting would be immensely helpful to my channel, and until next time, take care.